Hi everyone, we are from Group Epsilon. Today we are going to present the paper that we have been assigned, which is Analysis of Unusual Performance Indicates High Solution Gas Drive Recovery, State Line, Ellenberger Field. We are consist of 4 group members. The first member is Muhammad Hazim bin Kamarozaman. The second member is Khairul Asyraf bin Ramlee. The third member is Fathin, Natasha, Najwa. And the last member is Gary. No.
I'm Gary, so now I'm going to talk briefly about the audio. The state line field is located in Lee County and Andrews County. It is produced from the Ellenberger Formation at the depth of averaging 12,200 feet. The formation is a light tan dolomite with numerous pinpoint bars and fracturing. It doesn't follow the predicted performance for a solution gas drive. The primary recovery by this drive actually exceeds 50% of the oil in place. These are the methods that are used to investigate this field. So the first one is core analysis. Core analysis is used to determine the permeabilities and porosities. The second method is field-wide bottom hole pressure surveys. It is carried out during the first 9 months of survey. The reservoir pressure difference is noted in the survey and it is necessary to calculate the oil in place and estimating performance. The third method is the straight line method for the material balance solution. It can be solved based on the laboratory measure fluid properties and rock compressibility value. The value indicated by Hall's correlation show that the original oil in place was 3.846 mega stock barrel in north and 2.18 mega stock barrel in south area. However, using the lab measure values for rock compressibility, the calculations indicate that the revised values represent an increase of 32% than the previous estimate value.
Hello, I am Khairul Asyraf. Now I'm going to teach what is solution gas oil ratio. Basically, solution gas oil ratio is actually the amount of gas dissolved in oil or water at any pressure. Before bubble point pressure, you can see in the graph, the solution gas oil ratio increase approximately linear with pressure, and after bubble point pressure, the solution gas oil ratio become constant. This is because the gas start liberated and become gas cap. As we know, in this paper we're going to talk about what is unusual performance for state line Ellenberger field. This graph is actually the normal situation where we do solution gas drive. So from the graph, in stage 1, we can see that there are no free gas. So the producing GOR is actually equal to initial dissolved GOR. Moving to stage 2, free gas starts to appear, but the saturation is small and immobile. The producing GOR is slightly less than initial dissolved GOR. For stage 3, the free gas become mobile, and then the producing GOR increase steadily. When it comes to stage 4, the producing GOR starting to decrease. This is the graph get from the state line Ellenberger field, the solution gas drive graph. So as you can see, the actual GOR decreasing from here to here. So it is actually very different from the normal one, which is increase and then decrease the stage 4. This is because high critical gas saturation. Okay, the cumulative production from the wells in the north area approach and pass the predicted ultimate recovery value, and many of the wells continued to produce 200 to 300 barrels per day, which is more than predicted value. Why is it happening? First, it happened because producing GORs were considerably less than the original solution, and then no evidence of water influx noted. Gas phase in the reservoir was immobile and had not reached the equilibrium saturation for free gas flow. Then, gas couldn't flow to wellbores or migrate upwards to develop gas cap. Because of that, the producing GOR declined based on the graph we shown before, and then the height recovery of the oil happened. After that, I'm going to pass the floor to Izzat Hazim.
From the paper previously, they were conducted a pressure surveys of 3-field bottom hole pressure. For the 9 months of production, there are some parameters that have been carried out. The field was divided into 2 parts. The first is north and the second is south. It is because of reservoir pressure difference and indicated shear fault. It is because, as we know, shear zone and shear fault is a very important structural discontinuity surface in earth crust. It determines the hydrocarbon parameters and hydrocarbon accumulation of one field. From the graph, it is reflected that there are normal parameters of reservoir pressure, which is declining until reached slightly above the bubble bar pressure. As we can see here, the pressure is from 4970 psig and declining until to the 1881 psig and then declining under the 1555 psig. But it is not reached the bubble point pressure yet. Why? We will see until the next slide. For performance prediction, the reservoir was assumed at the reservoir prediction that it is according to the solution gas drive, which is the GOR, would increase. This was assumed because in solution gas drive, there is no contents of initial gas cap or underlying aquifer. Oil is produced by the driving force due to the expansion of oil and connect water, plus any compaction drive. In here, since it is indicated that the contribution to drive energy from compaction and connect water is small, oil compressibility initially dominates the drive energy. It is because the compressibility itself is low, pressure drops rapidly as production takes place until reach the bubble point pressure. Effect on the GOR above bubble point pressure, the GOR and the solution GOR, which is RSI, is the same. Why? It is because there is no gas liberated, which means the pressure is not meet bubble point pressure yet. And at below bubble point pressure, the gas is liberated and the free gas is flowing. As we can see here, the producing GOR as for the normal solution gas drive, the GOR will increase and the production will declining. From the paper, it resulted that the producing GOR were considerably less than the original solution GOR, and it stated that there is no water influx was noted. The solution GOR and producing GOR is plotted as water drive. Why? A detailed study of oil available data seemed to indicate that the gas phase in the reservoir was immobile and not reached the equilibrium saturation for free gas flow. From the data, why it is indicated that there is no water influx noted? And it is indicated that solution GOR and the producing GOR plotted are considerably the same as water drive. In water drive, the producing GOR may remain approximately at the solution GOR if the reservoir pressure is maintained above bubble point pressure. It is because in here in our paper it is because we found that it is because of abnormally high critical gas saturation found. The producing GOR is likely to be set same as the solution GOR because there is no gas liberation and there is no gas and the gas is remain immobile. As we know in the paper, it is said the major cause of the unusual performance for the reservoir is because of high critical gas saturation. So let's go through for the prediction based on high critical gas saturation. The recovery of oil in place at bubble point was indicated by solution gas drive mechanism. It is 52.2% for Muscat and 51.2% for Tanner. The actual performance and the material balance prediction seems to match reasonably well. Based on previous pressure survey, Muscat prediction indicated the reservoir pressure will be approximately 780 psig. The producing GOR in the north area will be 276 cubic feet per barrel compared with laboratory measured solution GOR of 250 cubic feet per barrel for reservoir fluid at 780 psig. In this reservoir, the gas phase remained immobile. It could not flow to the wellbore or migrate upward to develop a gas cap. This is explained in the declination of produced GOR and apparent high recovery. It is said high recovery because the oil is not produced gas and the gas is not liberated from the oil because of high critical gas saturation. That means it's good. Next, I will pass the presentation to my colleague Fathin, Natasha, Najwa.
Hi, so I am Fathin. So I'm gonna talk about the performance as plotted in the graph. First, the north area wells were shut down for 72 hours and the bottom hole pressures of the well range from 713 to 814 psig with arithmetic average pressure of 788 psig. The market predictions indicated that the reservoir pressure would be 780 psig. The producing GOR was 750 cubic feet per barrel, while the laboratory measured solution GOR is 250 cubic feet per barrel at reservoir pressure of 780 psig. The solution GOR of the reservoir fluid at the saturation pressure was 437 cubic feet per barrel. This shows that the data obtained are just about or more or less from the predictions, revised material balance calculation and Hall's correlation. So the conclusion is, based on the data found, we can conclude that the recovery below the bubble point by gas expansion is very effective due to an abnormally high critical gas saturation. This means that the only reason of the abnormal behavior of this reservoir is the high critical gas saturation. An agreement was made that the GOR and the pressure history validate an efficient solution gas drive mechanism. This means that the parameters are important to predict the performance and the oil production. Next, these are the present data of the Statline Eilenberger field. First, the free gas saturation is in excess of 21%, as indicated by market calculation. The reservoir pressure is 800 psi below bubble point pressure, with no indication of mobile gas, which means that this reservoir acts like there is a strong water drive below the bubble point pressure when there is no water drive. Third, and the oil recovery to date in the north area is already 43% of the original oil in place, which means that this is a good reservoir considering this is a solution gas drive recovery. So lastly, the authors, Platt and Lewis, hope that the knowledge gained from this paper could be used as a reference or assistance for other research similar as theirs. We have found some SPE papers that use this SPE paper as a reference for their research. In 1993, Zuhair Lee and Yanis Yotsos mentioned in their paper titled Critical Gas Saturation Modeling and Sensitivity Studies about the concept of critical gas saturation with an example of an actual production curve for an oil field which was discussed in this slide. In 1995, Zuhair Lee and Yanis Yotsos also mentioned in their paper titled Theory of Multiple Bubble Growth in Porous Media by Solute Diffusion about different ways to determine critical gas saturation and wrote about how Platt and Lewis use field data to estimate the critical gas saturation of their reservoir, which is the Eilenberger field. The last example is in 2004 where Richard Baker and Susan Biolowas mentioned in their paper titled Simulated Production Behavior of Heavy Oil Pools with Gas Caps about the theory of high critical gas saturation is responsible for the high oil recovery factor in solution gas drive recovery, which was concluded in this paper. That is the end of our presentation and thank you for watching.